Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Happiness Hub. I am your host, Marianne Roose, your gratitude consultant and guide for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs on the journey to financial independence and time freedom. Today's episode is number 84, and we're talking about something that can shift the way you run your business, lead your team, and even how you show up for yourself every day. The topic is creating a gratitude-based business culture for higher morale. Now, I know that may sound like a big idea, but by the end of our time together, you will see how gratitude isn't just a nice little extra. It is a practical, powerful strategy for creating a workplace where people feel valued, engaged, and motivated. The main takeaway I want you to take away with you today is this. Gratitude is not just an attitude. It is a strategy that attracts higher morale, better teamwork, and even stronger business results. When we think about building a business culture, many people jump to benefits, packages, mission statements, or office perks. Those are fine, but culture is built every day in small interactions. It is built in the way leaders acknowledge effort, the way teammates support each other, and the wins that are celebrated both big and small, right? Gratitude is the glue that holds all of that together. There's science to back this up. And just to get a little nerdy, let's talk about that study from Adam Grant and Francesca Gino at the University of Pennsylvania. They looked at the effects of managers expressing gratitude. They found that employees who were thanked for their efforts were 50% more productive afterward compared to those who received no thanks. Think about that. A simple thank you doubled productivity. No expensive programs, no new policies, just gratitude. Another study out of UC Davis and the University of Miami tracked people who kept gratitude journals. They weren't even in a work setting, but the results are telling. Participants who wrote things down that they were grateful for each week reported higher level of optimism, exercised more, and even had fewer doctor visits. That translates into workplace where you can see how gratitude practices can lead to healthier, happier, and even more energized teams. Now, I know we like to look at real life examples every time. So instead of looking at just the typical celebrity names, let's look at Hamdi Ulukaya, the founder and CEO of Chobani. I just had some earlier today. When he started Chobani, he wanted more than a yogurt company. He wanted to create a workplace that felt like family. Gratitude was central to how he built the culture. In 2016, Ulukaya surprised employees by giving them a 10% ownership stake in the company. It was his way of saying thank you for building the business with him. Many of these employees were refugees and immigrants who had never dreamed of owning a share of such a successful company. The results, you ask? Loyalty, enthusiasm, and a culture of gratitude that rippled through the entire workforce. Employees weren't just showing up for a paycheck, they were valued. And that gratitude translated into pride in their work. Now, another leader that we can learn from is Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. When he took over in 2014, Microsoft was struggling with internal competition and low morale. Nadella shifted the culture by focusing on empathy and gratitude. He introduced a mindset of growth where mistakes were seen as learning opportunities, and he made gratitude part of leadership training. Managers were encouraged to regularly thank their teams, highlight strength, and celebrate progress. Within a few years, Microsoft's culture turned around. Employee morale skyrocketed, and the company's market value more than tripled. Gratitude was not the only factor, but it was a key ingredient in creating a culture where people felt valued and motivated to give their best. So, how do you, as a business owner or entrepreneur, create a gratitude based culture? Here are some practical steps that you can start today. Start meetings with gratitude, whether it's a team huddle, a Zoom call, or even one on ones. Ask everyone to share one thing that they're grateful for. It sets a positive tone and reminds people what is going right. All right, what about those thank you notes, right? This can be digital, handwritten, but make it specific. Instead of just thanks for your hard work, you might say thank you for staying late to help us get that proposal out. I appreciate your dedication. Be specific as to why you're thanking that person. And then celebrate the small wins, right? Don't wait for the giant sale goals or the huge client contract. Recognize the daily progress. A culture that celebrates small wins creates momentum. Now, I'm going to encourage you also to use gratitude tools. This could be the gratitude journal that we have. You can use that for yourself. It could be a team gratitude wall where people post notes, or you can even do a weekly shout out email highlighting contributions, right? These are tools for sharing gratitude and being in gratitude. And then lastly, I want to invite you to model it. As a leader, your gratitude sets the tone. When you thank, others follow. When you listen with appreciation, others learn to do the same. Now, because I did promise to get a little nerdy, here's another piece of research. In 2012, a study by Glassdoor surveyed thousands of employees and found that 81% said they would work harder for a boss that showed appreciation. That is 8 out of 10 employees saying that gratitude directly impacts their motivation. Think of what that means for morale, productivity, and even retention. Another study that I'll share with you was done with fundraisers that are calling at the University of Pennsylvania. Researchers divided the group into two halves. One half just did their regular calls. The other half received a short, sincere message of gratitude from the manager before they started their shift. The results? The group that received gratitude made 55% more calls than the group that did not. Gratitude directly boosts effort and persistence. So, beautiful souls, here is the heart of today's episode. Gratitude isn't just about being nice. It is a business strategy that attracts abundance. It builds trust, and it creates a culture where people want to show up and give their best. Your challenge for this week is simple. Find one intentional way to express gratitude in your business. Maybe it's writing a note, maybe it's starting a meeting with gratitude, or maybe it's taking a moment to thank someone who supports you behind the scenes. So, if today's episode gave you a new perspective, I invite you to subscribe to the Happiness Hub so you never miss an episode. And if you know someone who could use a reminder about the power of gratitude in business, please share this with them. Together, we can spread a culture of gratitude and abundance. So I want to say thank you for spending this time together with me. And remember, the main takeaway from today is that gratitude is not just an attitude, it is a strategy. So until next time, a hui ho, toodle pip, and aloha.